Good morning. Wow, what a crowd. Thank you all for being here today. And thank you all for being here for such a special event for the Tampa Bay Diversity Chamber of Commerce. Many of you may know that we are celebrating 35 years serving the Tampa Bay area, and we're very proud to be here today. And we're very proud to be hosting the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce International Business and Leadership Conference in August. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Justice Gennari. I am the Executive Director of the Tampa Bay Diversity Chamber of Commerce. I am the first full-time person of the Chamber in all of the 35 years. Just a few short intros. I wanted to thank our sponsors, our presenting sponsor, JPMorgan Chase. As well as I would like to recognize a few of our table sponsors, L5, Citi, PNC, and I save this one for last because they are the Tampa Bay Diversity Chamber of Commerce first corporate partners and sponsors, regions. With further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Christy Hattersley, the board chair.
It's a really long walk. Hi everyone, how are you? Are you excited to be here? Yes. We're super excited. It's Pride Month, so we're all really... So most of you guys, some of you know me, some of you don't. I am the wife of Representative Adam Hattersley, which is how most people refer to me. But I have my own story about why this chamber is so important to me and why I took on the role of chair. And I wanted to share it with you, just so you know, when you're thinking about this chamber, really thinking about your why and why you're here and why this is important. So a lot of you don't know, but about a year ago, my husband and I jumped into the political race because a woman named Rhonda Storms decided to file for District 59, and we all remember her. We try not to, but I have a brother, he's gay, and he adopted a baby girl. And I'm not okay with people telling me my family's not okay, that that's not right. So my husband chose advocacy and politics as his avenue, but my entire career has been sales and marketing. And I came from a background of sales and marketing and events and advertising. I sold advertising in Europe and Asia. And what I found was it really matters where you spend your dollars and who you're spending them with. And I think in this room, we all know that we want to build this community up, that the LGBTQ+ community is not silent anymore, and that we have money to spend, and we're going to spend it with those businesses that are owned by those LGBTQ individuals and our allies. And that's where we're going to spend it. And so for me, this is the way that I like to give back to the community, is by building it. And I think in Tampa Bay, we have a lot of work to do. And it's not just Tampa. We have 7 counties that we represent. And so we go all the way down to Sarasota. We go all the way out to East Hillsborough. We go all the way up to Pasco. Each one of you knows 1 or 2 people that is either an ally or an LGBTQ-owned business, and we want you to reach out to them. And we want you to tell them about the chamber, bring them to a networking function, become a member. Go on your phone, go to diversitytampabay.org, look at the join button. If you've got it out right now, pull it up. Make sure that if you're not a member, that you are actually looking at membership. If you have questions about it, talk to Justice and me. If you want to get involved as a sponsor, let us know. We are really excited about where we are this year. With the international conference coming, we have a lot of momentum, and we want to keep this going. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here. I want to thank you for taking part in this luncheon. I also want to introduce Michael Bourne from JPMorgan Chase, who is our sponsor, who's going to talk to you a little bit about his why. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christy, and that's a tough act to follow. But at least we got the name there, so I'm happy with that. So good afternoon. My name is Michael Bourne. I lead the private bank for JP Morgan for Central and West Florida. I also have the pleasure of being the market executive for the whole of the JP Morgan Chase organization in Tampa Bay. And I'm honored to be here to represent those 5,000 plus employees in Hillsborough County and beyond within the region. As one of Tampa Bay's largest private employers, it's critical that we lead in diversity and inclusion. I'm proud to be part of a company that not only champions inclusivity, but drives the message of dignity and respect, ensures fairness, ensures equality, and makes sure, I think most importantly, that every employee knows where we stand as a firm. Today, more than ever, it's important that businesses in the community demonstrate our commitment to inclusivity, diversity, compassion, and open-mindedness. Our people are our most important asset, and that's probably true of every firm that's represented in this room today. We believe that diversity amongst our employees enables us to be the world-class company we are today. We strive to that aim to foster a culture of respect. We're committed to making our workforce, our workplace, our marketplace diverse, inclusive, and accessible to all. Diversity brings together people with unique perspectives. I love Christy's why. I don't know that I have a why other than I just care, which is why I wanted to be here and I wanted the firm to be here today. Those unique perspectives and inclusion create opportunities for all individuals to contribute, not just within a particular company, but within our broader community, to work together and to achieve success as a whole. We believe that working in an inclusive environment within the firm motivates exceptional effort. In short, it just makes us better at what we do. That's the firm's why, is we believe it makes us better at what we do. I had a little briefing from our media relations partner. He said, whatever you do, don't make this a brag session. Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is Pride Month. And I'm not ashamed to tell you that I'm proud to be here to represent and to work for a firm that has shown their commitment historically. So with your indulgence, and I've got the mic, so I control that, I'm going to share a little timeline of our history, and it won't take more than 20, 30 minutes, so bear with me. In 1998, we were one of the first firms on Wall Street to offer domestic partner benefits. In 1999, our LGBT plus business resource group was launched in the USA. We've got representatives from that group named Pride here today. It now has a presence in 17 countries and it has over 17,000 members across the firm. And Pride is just one of 10 business resource groups within the firm, with 190 global chapters and over 85,000 global employees actively involved in those business resource groups. And they're advancing the firm's commitment both to diversity but also to community involvement. In 2002, HRC launched the Corporate Equity Index, and I'm still proud to tell you that JP Morgan Chase is the only financial services firm to have scored 100% in the 17 years since that introduction. In 2007, we launched a diversity recruiting campaign for LBGT graduates called Proud to Be. In 2008, which seems a long time ago now, we were one of the first in our industry to offer a comprehensive transgender benefits package within the USA. In 2015, Outstanding and the Financial Times launched the LGBT role models list. Our leaders have featured in that list ever since. And we've publicly advocated, and this is where I'm so proud of Jamie Dimon and our leadership, we've publicly advocated on diversity issues across the country in multiple states and as far afield as Australia and Hong Kong. It starts with leadership. Jamie Dimon would tell you 50% of his direct reports today are female, and 20% of his direct reports today are LGBT. I don't see that reflected across the corporate world. It's a part of our broad effort to improve the communities we serve and the communities where our clients live and work. I said earlier, it begins with leadership. Leading by example always starts at the top, and it makes me proud to be here, to be a part of an organization and event that's going to highlight our newly elected mayor, Jane Castor, who absolutely leads by example. She's a true champion for diversity, and I applaud her commitment to making Tampa Bay, or Tampa, and hopefully the broader Tampa Bay region, a better place for everybody to feel included, to feel a part, and to want to live and work. And with that, I thank you very much for joining us all. Jane.
All right, I have been ordered by Justice to speak very quickly because I'm in the way of lunch, so I'm going to come back. But I just have, I have a pretty sad announcement here, but I went to the restroom just a minute ago and my hair was like really messed up. So everyone who took a photo with me is going to have to stay after and take another photo. So I'm very, very sorry about that. But I just very quickly, I saw Ben Limmer in here. Where are you at, Ben? Our new Heart Director over here. Thank you very, very much for coming here today. He's going to reinvent the bus system, so very excited about that. But so many wonderful friends in here today. I thank you all for coming, and we're going to give you a scrumptious lunch. If the food makes you tired and sleepy, then drink coffee, because I'm getting ready to speak and you all have to pay attention, all right? All right. See you in a minute.
Thank you, Jane, and thank you, Michael. Now, I hope you all enjoy your lunch, and we'll just have a few minute break for you all to go ahead and network and talk amongst yourselves. Thank you. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the chamber. There's many, many new faces in here, and there's a few old ones, and there's a few members that have been with us for more than 20 years. So the chamber, we are actually getting prepared for this, conference. It's rather large. Our closest 1,500 friends. The Tampa is very, very excited to host this conference. A few years ago, we actually put in the bid to secure this conference. And out of 3 other cities, we are able to secure that with the help of the city and with the help with the visitor bureau here in Tampa. The conference will be here in Tampa, August 13th through the 16th. The first 2 days, the Monday and Tuesday, I'm very, very happy to announce that with a generous grant and sponsorship with Wells Fargo, that all chamber leaders throughout the Tampa Bay area, as well as nationally, are able to attend the Monday and Tuesday for a free chamber business and leadership development course. That wouldn't have been possible without NGLCC, the National Hispanic Chamber, the National Black African American Chamber, as well as the National Pan-Asian Chamber. So give them a round of applause. Also in your brochure, you can see our upcoming events that we have. Every second Tuesday of the month, we have our monthly business-to-business networking mixer. It's always at a member that's based throughout the Tampa Bay area. We also have the Rowdies and Rays Pride Nights that's coming up later on this month, as well as the Business of Pride with the Tampa Bay Business Journal. And then, of course, as you've heard multiple times, I've mentioned the conference in, when is that again? August. Thank you. Also with the conference, we are very proud to be hosting the opening reception. That is our chance to really show Tampa Bay for what it truly is. It's a diverse, welcoming, inclusive community where we all hold each other up. And who doesn't love a good sunshine while you're, working, networking, connecting? So we're very, very proud to host that, and that will be at the Tampa Bay Convention Center with our partnership with the Marriott as well as the Embassy Suites. So I know that you all have come here today for a few reasons to hear a little bit about the chamber, but let's be honest, you're not all here to hear me speak. So just a few more things to go over. Many of you have an LGBT business. Many of you are 51% owned and operated businesses that it's owned by an LGBT person. Anyone that's in the room that's currently an LGBTBE, please stand up. We have 1, 2, 3. So an LGBTBE is a nationally certified body through NGLCC. It is a business that's 51% owned or operated by an LGBT business professional. If anyone is interested in becoming LGBTBE certified, please see our board members that's scattered throughout the venue. Please wave your hands. Thank you. And then without further ado, I'm going to introduce one of our LGBTBEs from L5, Laura.
Woo! Happy Pride, y'all. It's a good lunch. Thanks for being here. I'm going to speak that a lot of us know what it's like to be a part of the LGBT community, and you walk into a meeting or a restaurant or sometimes a bar, and sometimes then you walk into an airplane and you see someone that you think you know, and you kind of look, yeah, I know them. And this happened recently when I was on a flight and I saw Mayor Castor and Anna, and we all can live by that. You hate when you're boarding the plane and all the overhead space is taken up and you've got to put your bag behind us, and you're like, man. We recognized one another, and I told them I would take care of their package. Little did they know I was a professional at taking care of packages. Your package is our priority at L5, and that's what we do. And so I think Jane and Anna were glad to see me. And, we've all built our businesses on the success of our relationships that we have with one another, whether LGBT or otherwise. But it only made sense for us to become a certified LGBT business and be certified by the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce. They asked me to briefly say what is our why, the reason we did it. We were a group here headquartered in St. Petersburg, looking to expand our business, and quickly learned that we would be afforded opportunities, bigger ones with GPOs, state and federal governments, if we were certified as a diverse-owned business. So that is why we did it. It has grown our business, and it continues to grow our business each and every year. We have expanded our business nationally. We have facilities all across the United States and receive RFPs directly from the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce that wouldn't be passed along to us if we were not certified by them. So I noticed I was one of, I think, 3 people that stood up in this room. And so I encourage you to take the opportunity, take the time. Being a member of the Tampa Bay Diversity Chamber of Commerce, it gives you that link and that bridge to the national organization. So I encourage you to take the time and become certified. Stand up and do that for you. And I'd like to thank the Diverse Chamber of Commerce for what they do for our community and business and otherwise, and the opportunity to share my story here. And I also get the privilege of introducing Mayor Jane Castor. I'm very excited to hear her speak, and I think that we all can appreciate her leadership above and beyond what she's done for this community of Tampa, and for all the all the youth and leaders that are here in Tampa Bay. So thank you, Jane. I'm glad she doesn't have a bag for me to handle today.
Yeah, right.
Good to see you.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, good afternoon. Seems like I've deja vu here. Wasn't I standing here a minute ago? So I want to say thank you to the Diversity Chamber. This is an incredibly important, not only event, but topic as well. And I have two announcements that I have to make. First and foremost, I just went and recorded the tram message at Tampa International Airport. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was, it was kind of funny. That was like the number one question that I was asked once I was elected was, when are you going to record your message? So it's there, so everybody travel so you can hear. And then more importantly, Anna gave me an order to provide a message, and she even wrote it down in case I forgot it. But she told me to talk about the Competitive Workforce Act that had bipartisan support up in the legislature, and it never got into a hearing. It was basically killed by the leadership. So everyone in this room needs to ensure that you call your representatives and make sure that you indicate the need for that act to be heard, in not only heard but brought up to a vote, because it had bipartisan support and it's the right thing to do. So make sure the Competitive Workforce Act. Was that good enough, Anna? All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You know, this June is Pride Month, we all know that, and we had our Pride Parade in March, so you probably think that we possibly don't know what, or aren't able to keep time. That's not the case. In Tampa, we look at every month as being Pride Month. It's a month that we're proud of our entire community. That, coupled with the fact that it's like 120 degrees in June, we wisely chose March. It might have been a little bit wiser to choose like January, but March was it. So it was a wonderful event. It grows every year, and it's something that hopefully will come to define the city of Tampa, just as it has in several other communities. And you know, I want to talk a lot about diversity today, and then hopefully I'll leave open a little bit of time for questions, but I have my mom's tendency to ramble on, so if I talk too long, you guys can hit me. First, I have to tell one of my kids' stories. Speech is never good without a kid's story. So my kids come home from school in like 4th grade. My little son, Sealy, the one with a personality. I always tell people he could carry on a conversation with a telephone pole. But he comes home and I'm like, well, what did you learn about today? And he goes, and they were studying geography at the time at their school. I said, so what did you guys learn about today? And he goes, we learned all about diversity. And I go, wow, where's that at? And he looks at me and he goes, Mom, he goes, Diversity. And I go, honey, I don't know where that's at. I said, it's in Florida. So he puts his hands on him and he goes, Diversity, when people are different. And I go, oh, diversity. So I got it. But I want to talk a little bit about the significance of diversity, and it's something that has been near and dear to me, you know, for my entire life, clearly. But in the Tampa Police Department, my career there, it was critically important that we had a very diverse force, that it reflected the community that we served. And then with our staff, we had a very small staff. We had, for 1,300 employees, we only had 10 members on our staff. But that was critical as well, that we had very diverse opinions and viewpoints in our staff because they were making decisions that affected our community. And it was important. And many of you have heard me talk about or reference the hearings for Sonia Sotomayor when she was sworn in as a Supreme Court Justice, and a big deal was made about her Hispanic heritage and how that may affect the decisions she's making. And I'm like, well, no, isn't that the point of diversity? I mean, that's the point of it right there. We are all a sum total of our life experiences, And those experiences need to be brought to the table when decisions are made. And so it's always been very, very important. And we also had in the police department, we had liaisons to each of our communities, the African American community, Hispanic community, the LGBT community. We had liaisons to each of the groups because decisions would be made and the perception would be that that decision was made because I'm gay. And so if the individual could talk to somebody that looked like them and represented their thoughts, values, feelings, then it was easier to understand. So that's very, very important. And in law enforcement, that's what you deal with is perception. But diversity goes so much further than that. The business of diversity, it is such an economic driver. You know, individuals move to a city based on diversity in so many ways. And then as businesses, you know, as was pointed out by Michael, it's critically important that people feel that they're welcome in a business. And it goes a lot further than just saying you have a policy or you have a procedure. You have to walk the walk and talk the talk. And I'll tell you a quick story. I met a woman, a lesbian that is a contractor, owns a contracting company and is doing a lot of work for affordable housing. So I went and met with her to tour her affordable housing projects. And she said, you know, she said, and she lives over on the East Coast, but she works here during the week. And she said, you know, I was there at your swearing in. And she said, when you turned around and you said to your partner, Anna, I love you up on the stage, she said, I just started crying. And she said, I've been gay my whole life. And she said, and my wife and I, she goes, we've been a couple, we have children. She said, but and I own the company. And she said, but I've never felt comfortable sharing my life with people, with others. And you think about that. You know, a lot of people in this room that hopefully the younger people have never felt that way. But for older, you know, people, those of us who have been around, as I tell everybody, I'm getting ready to celebrate my 20th birthday for the third time. So, you know, that really resonates with a lot of us. And so it's important not just to say, we have a piece of paper or we have a policy. It's important to say that we welcome everyone. We welcome everyone's input, and we celebrate you, we celebrate your family, we celebrate your culture and your customs. And I think that that is incredibly important. When I was sworn in, part of my speech, I said that I want to reach a point in this country where people are truly judged on their character and not the color of their skin, and that no one loses their life because of the God they worship. And the fact of who you love is not nearly as important as you are loved and you do love. That is what is important in our community. And I think that's what Tampa reflects. That's what Tampa reflects. We can't say that we don't have issues in our community, but the sheer volume of individuals that are accepting and inclusive outweigh those individuals that may be wrapped up in the national rhetoric that's going around now. And it's one of the things that makes me so proud of our city is that, you know, no matter what's going on across the nation, we are still a very, very positive city. And it was one of, clearly I wanted to win the election. That was number one. But I think that the victory, I sort of referred to it as a butt whooping, but that it was, yeah, we have Anna and I have good friends that I've had out in the community, Ruth and Levi Fleming, and they're in their 70s, older African-American couple. You see them in all of our ads, but just wonderful, wonderful couple. So she calls me on the phone right after the election, and she goes, Chief, I just want to tell you how proud we are of you. Levi and I, we're just so proud beyond words. it's just hard to, and Levi's on, they always call, they're both on the phone, on either phone. Levi jumps in and he goes, Chief, I just wanted to say, you kicked that boy's ass. And then she starts laughing, she starts giggling, and then we're all laughing. It was so funny. I just can't play that voicemail enough. But anyway, back to the point. What was significant too is that what it said is that Tampa is a positive city. That we weren't going to, that what Tampa wanted was a leader that had the skill, knowledge, and ability to do the job and was focusing on the issues that are important to every person in this room. And that the negativity just wasn't going to play in the city of Tampa. And one of the things that right after the election, it started to take on national significance, and we had calls from media all over the United States and in some cases around the world. And the first thing they would ask was, so how did the fact that you're a lesbian, how did that come up in the campaign? And when I responded and said it never came up, there was just dead silence. Because that's what the media around the nation wanted to hear. They wanted to hear what was the nasty part of the election, and it wasn't there. And so, again, I think that says a great deal about our community, is that it's accepting. And one of the stories that I tell is when I was first sworn in as the chief of police, I was the first female chief of police. But I said that I didn't want to be remembered at the end of my tenure. I didn't want to be remembered as the first female chief of police. I wanted to be remembered as a good chief of police. But with that being said, it was never lost. The significance of being the first was never lost on me. And the responsibility of being a role model for other young women and young girls in our community. And it's something that I took very, very seriously. And the same thing as being the first openly gay mayor in the city of Tampa. I want a day when it doesn't matter, when you're just the mayor. But the significance of being the first is not lost on me either, to be that role model for especially the young community. And I see so many role models. I mean, Ashley Brundage. I mean, you see so many role models in this room here. And it's very, very important that each of us remember the part that we play in raising up the community, not just the LGBT community, but the entire community, and being that example that you want other people to follow. Now, not to be outdone by Michael, I have to talk about some of the things that we have done here in the city to ensure that Tampa is a very inclusive city. And we don't have, I hope it's long enough that you don't remember his list, and because our list isn't as significant, but we amended in March. I hope you all voted for this. I'm sure you did. We amended the city charter section prohibiting discrimination to include sexual orientation, gender identification, and 8 other protected classes in our community. By ordinance, the city of Tampa bans discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity or expression, and the city's anti-discrimination ordinance also applies to any contractors that want to work within our city. And I think that's significant as well. We've also banned conversion therapy, and although that is being litigated right now, we're hoping that comes our way. But nonetheless, we've taken that stand, and I think that that's a significant step as well. And before same-sex marriage was legalized by the U.S. Supreme Court, Tampa had already passed a domestic partnership registry and provided benefits to same-sex partners of city employees. And one of the things too is that's not just for same-sex partners. That resonates with all couples in the city of Tampa, and so that had far reach. So that's very, very important. And although we haven't been 17 years with HRC's perfect 100 score, we did get it last year. So we're very excited about that. And I can guarantee you that we will be getting that from this point forward. But being able to attract LGBT-centric events to the city of Tampa is very important to us. The Pride Parade, as I mentioned, we had the Gay Softball World Championships, the World Series here in Tampa, which not only is a great event, but a huge economic driver as well. And has been mentioned by Justice, we were able to get the Chamber of Commerce, the Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, to come to Tampa for the first time in August, which is very difficult. I participated in that pitch to them along with Ashley. I know Ashley did a lot more work than Anna and I did, but we were right there. And I know downtown Sherry Brown from Visit Tampa Bay is back there, and I'm not sure if there's others, but working hard every day to make sure that we're bringing events here that represent the diversity that is important to our community. And I tell you what, the Chamber of Commerce event is a big deal. And it's a big deal in August. I may or may not have promised that we were going to fix our outdoor air conditioning system, but we're just not sure if that's going to happen. But it is very important, and I clearly understand the significance of that, and as I know that each and every one of you do. But we have to make sure that we're cognizant of ensuring everyone's rights and acceptance in our city every single day. It is critically important, not just because it's an economic driver and it attracts businesses to our community, but because it's the right thing to do. And that's what distinguishes the city of Tampa and the whole Tampa Bay area from so many other communities across the nation. And that's the word that we want to get out to everyone, is that we are open and welcoming here in the city of Tampa. All right, now I'm going to open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions, or I can go ahead and talk more about economic diversity. Who has a question? Nobody? Oh, come on. You guys are going to walk out and you're going to be like, oh, if she'd stayed another minute.
What is the city of Tampa doing to engage diverse businesses like LGBTQs?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's important. Like I said here, we have to ensure that our contractors, anybody who gets a contract with the city, is ensuring that there's no discrimination. But we look at our standards for women and minority LGBT businesses. That's something that I am going to increase dramatically. It's not as easy as it sounds. A lot of people like to work with the numbers and they say, okay, the city of Tampa does this much business, therefore this percentage should be. A lot of times there aren't the businesses or the contractors or the service providers for those particular contracts. And that's why I'm going to focus, one of my main focuses is going to be on small businesses. How we can help start small businesses and ensure that they're going to be successful, not just get individuals registered and then walk off into the sunset, and look for small business seminars in a neighborhood near you very soon. We're putting that together right now, and then helping individuals get on that vendor list for the city of Tampa. And so anyone that has a small business and has an interest in that, make sure you let me know, and we'll let you know when those seminars are, so that we can help out. And that's what I want for Tampa. I want Tampa to be seen as the innovation hub of the nation, the place that people want to come and start businesses, a smart city where we're making decisions based on data, and a city that attracts the best and the brightest and businesses and developers from around the nation, while we continue to focus on our homegrown businesses. Because that really is the heart of it, I feel. I was born and raised here in Tampa, and I think that if you're born and raised, and that doesn't mean you have to be 59 years old here, born and raised can be you started your business 5 years ago here, but you've got more skin in the game in those instances, and you've got more roots in the community. So it's very important that we focus on small businesses here in Tampa Bay area. I know some of y'all move in St. Pete. I know who you are, live in St. Pete. I know who you are. And I must say that Anna and I's neighborhood of Seminole Heights is like the hip place to be now, where, as I say, I clearly had nothing to do with the hipness because I've been there since I was 21 years old. To which our kids respond, "No kidding, Mom, there's nothing hip about you." We get all our love at home from the boys and bring you back down to earth. All right, any other questions? All righty. Oh, yes.
As suicide rates are climbing, what is your take and what are you planning on doing about mental wellness in the community?
Yeah, well, here's a problem. We rank 51st in the nation behind Puerto Rico in spending in mental health. When I retired, I got to do some things that I was passionate about and I had some time to get involved in. And one of them was mental health, and I got on the board of Grace Point, which provides the mental health services in the community. And we should really be ashamed as a nation of how little attention we pay to mental health and mental illness. And it's very, very important. And suicide prevention, I just went to the hospital the other day, got a call, police officer that I'd worked with for many years, her 16-year-old son killed himself. And no, no discernible reason for that. She said everything was going well. He had had a breakup with a girlfriend, and he said everything was going well and just made that split-second decision. That's one of the things with the social media as well. There are so many positive things in social media, and there are negative elements of it as well. And suicide, I don't know if anybody knows this, but the studies, all of the research done is that you can't publicize suicides because, especially with young people, because then you have so many copycats that come along with that. So I don't know if you've noticed, but you will never read, not never, but it's very, very rare that you will read about a suicide in the newspaper. And the point of that is to try to avoid people making that split-second decision, especially young people. But we do, as a community and as a nation, need to focus so much more on that. And the suicide prevention is all of our responsibility. A lot of things are all of our responsibility. But as citizens, if there is someone around you that's struggling, that that you try to help out in whatever way that you can, because so many times we'll turn the other way because we don't know what to do or we feel uncomfortable. So people have to get involved in that, and then we have to do what we can as a community to take that stigma off. I know there are a lot of pastors in African American churches that are focusing on the topic of suicide right now and mental health, because it's something that has been taboo through the generations. But it's a problem that I can tell you from my years in the police department in the last decade has really skyrocketed with a lot of young people. We had an 8-year-old that committed suicide. What could possibly be wrong in an 8-year-old's life? But there's so much pressure that I didn't have when I was growing up. So we need to ensure that we're looking at it in a holistic manner. And that's a very good point. And also that brings me also to the Metro Inclusive Health. Where's James at? They're getting ready to open up. We all know what Metro Wellness does in Ybor City. They do so much for the LGBT community. And he threw me off with the name change. Nobody called and let me know about it, James, but that's all right. But they're changing their name to the Metro Inclusive Health, and they're going to be opening in the German American Club, which is down there, the old German American Club on Nebraska, the gorgeous historical building that James gave me a tutorial on. It was open to everyone. When it was open, everyone was welcome there. So it really is a great place to be for the LGBT community, showing that we're a very inclusive community. They're going to use that portion of it and then also build an addition to it. So not only will they provide the wellness aspect of it free of charge, It clearly costs money, so don't think you don't need to donate. But to those individuals that may not have insurance, and then there's going to be an event space there, right? And then parking.
We actually do accept insurance. It's a home for primary care, behavioral health counseling. We offer over 100 different services, and we're so excited at the opportunity to expand in Tampa and breathe new life back into the German American Club. And the facility will boast 30,000 square feet to better serve the individuals of Tampa. So we're thrilled at the opportunity.
Great.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good, good. And that's another issue that we need to look at, is the resurgence of HIV. You know, we thought that I grew up in the 80s, and I became a police officer in 1984, and that's when, you know, we were most heavily hit. And I had a lot of friends, which I'm sure people in this room had a lot of friends die from AIDS, but it is back in force, and so that's something that we have got to pay attention to as a community. It's back nationwide, but more so in our community, in the Tampa Bay area. So that's something that we need to pay attention to, and that's something that Metro does a very good job of as well. All right. All right. All right. Well, again, thank you all very, very much, and please remember the Competitive Workforce Act. This is very, very important. And I also want to recognize Miss Anna Cruz, who, without my partner, I would not be standing before you today, because as she will gleefully tell you, I knew nothing about political campaigns. So I knew when all of a sudden I was not invited to any more of the meetings that my opinion did not count anymore. But I guess it's a good thing. She knew what she was doing. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I like to say that. Instead of calling you Jane, I can say thank you, Mayor. Just a few more things. You know, many of you may not know that we have this cool convention conference coming to Tampa. I may have mentioned it once or twice. Again, that's August 13th. August 13th will be the kickoff reception at the Italian Club in historic Ybor City. Something really, really cool I want everyone to know about is that we are estimating a $9.2 million economic impact within the 4 business days that the conference will be here in the Tampa Bay area. So for those of you that are not members, now is the time to join before the conference that gets here, so that you are on the dining guide as well as the directory that all of the attendees will be a part of. There's actually this really cool app that will have all of our members located in it. So now is the time to join, so that members that are coming nationally to our beautiful city can recognize you and visit your business while they're here. Just a few more moments, I would like to introduce a few very special people that the Chamber would not be able to do what they do without them. May I have Brandon, James Keene, Whitney, Matthew, Christy, Luke. These are the Tampa Bay Diversity Chamber of Commerce board members, and without them, this luncheon would not have been possible, nor will the programs and hosting this amazing conference be possible this year. So give them a round of applause, please. And again, thank you, JP Morgan Chase, for your beautiful sponsorship, your partnership, and for believing in the Chamber and supporting diversity and inclusion for all. One more thing, I believe that all of you guys checked in on Facebook, social media, LinkedIn. Anyone else has a business card that they would like to put in the bowl? Whitney, will you go ahead and pick a card? David from Diversity Health Center of Tampa Bay. Thank you, Dr. Leiter. So again, thank you all for being here today. Thank you for celebrating 35 years in the Tampa Bay area. And we look forward to seeing many of you guys at our upcoming events, including the Business of Pride, as well as the NGLCC International Conference. Thank you.